So for Tuesday, December 7th, 2021, please rise and join me in the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, if I could just have you remain standing for a moment. I would just like to have a moment of silence for Pearl Harbor. It's been 80 years today. Thank you, everyone. Today, a survivor of USS Oklahoma at 101 years old visited Honolulu today for the ceremony. Thank you very much. Before we move on, there's a couple of things that got inadvertently left off the agenda because the template from the special meeting was used, so correspondence and public input were accidentally left off. So I'm going to make a motion to add, we're going to label it number 1A, correspondence. Is there a second? Second. Those in favor, signify by saying aye. 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 I'm going to make a motion to add under 1B, public input. Is there a second? Second. Right, 2 seconds. Any discussion, of course. Those in favor, please signify by saying aye. 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 Now, before we move on, did you want to make a motion to move an item?
Can we make a motion to move number 8, discussion of potential candidates to fill Board of Finance vacancy up above 2, so if people don't want to stay for the whole meeting, they don't have to stay.
You mean ahead of the first selectmen's report?
No.
I think, I mean, you want to do your first report first, or you want to go? Doesn't matter.
Yeah, let me do that.
Okay, so we'll do it after the first one.
Okay, all right.
Can we put it in between 3 and 4?
Okay, so we'll make it 2B. How's that?
2B.
Okay.
Or not to be.
All right, 2B. All right. Those in favor signify by saying aye. 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 That carries. Okay, so we are at item number 1A, correspondence. I would call to my colleagues. Well, first of all, let me welcome. This is part of the first Selectmen's Board. I want to officially welcome Brian Thursday as a member of the Board of Selectmen. We had a nice memorial. I'm glad you're here because we have your gift card. So I want to welcome Brian. Wish you all the best in your new position. I think we will have a good 2 years together. So welcome to you. And then under correspondence, there are 2 pieces of correspondence. There is a letter from Mr. Nick Hoffman. Mr. Hoffman has declined to accept the appointment to the Board of Finance. Mr. Hoffman is here. I want to thank you, sir, for your concern and thank you for your letter. The second piece of correspondence is from Dan Carter, who is here. And Dan has requested appointment to the Board of Finance, and he has written a letter with his qualifications and bona fides. So thank you, sir, for that. I appreciate it. And that's Kathy, was there any other late correspondence that you know of? Okay.
Yeah, there was one from the BRTC that was emailed, but it got bounced back from you, so I brought it in and handed it in at Dion's desk.
Okay.
So I've got a copy if you like.
Okay, if you want to submit it, that's cool. That's fine.
Yeah, let me do that. Yeah, I don't know who was at the desk.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
But this is with regard to appointments, including the ZBA.
Oh, okay. All right. We don't
Can
have any-
can someone announce who's speaking?
Yes,
Who was that just submitted the letter?
that was Tim
Tim
Beagle.
Beadle.
Thank you.
All right. Before we move on, I almost forgot to check the board here. Is there anybody online with us tonight? This is a hybrid meeting. Is there anybody else who would care to make any statements on members of the public? If you do, please unmute yourself. Okay, hearing none. We'll move on. First Selectmen's report. I'm just gonna. This is just very brief. Again, congratulations to my colleague, our colleague, Mr. Terzian, for joining the board. Wish you well. I want to thank all the folks who put our swearing in ceremony together last night. They did a very good job. Dan Craig, who can't be with us tonight, Lieutenant Governor Susan Bisowitz for officiating, Lieutenant Commander Dwinells for the excellent ROTC unit. That is always do a tremendous job. The soloist, whose name was Elena Bodak, I think, Bodak or Bodak. I'm sorry, Elena. I'm sorry if I'm mangling your name, but everybody did a terrific job, and it was a wonderful evening. The main thing I wanted to cover with you is we were talking about this offline, just between the citizens here. The COVID numbers are on the rise again. Our case rate per 100,000, which is what we use to, what the state uses to put us into the categories if we're green or yellow or orange or red. We've accelerated in the last 4 weeks by threefold. So we're up to 11.2 cases per 100,000. The positivity rate on tests is up to 3.2%. 4 weeks ago, we were down about 1.6%. So these are definitely going in the wrong direction. There's no indication that the Omicron variant is in our area. It has been detected in Connecticut. The health authorities assume that it's just a matter of time before it's found pretty much everywhere. So the town of Bethel, through our health department, is simply strongly advise it in the strongest possible terms that people should get vaccinated, get the booster, and just so everybody knows, every adult from 18 and up is eligible for the booster 6 months after you've gotten fully vaccinated. There's no charge. There's no other qualifications. You don't have to have any pre-existing conditions to be eligible. And there are breakthrough cases. About 10% of the cases that are seen are breakthrough, meaning that fully vaccinated people are catching it, but they're not getting severe cases. So once again, certainly social distancing helps, but the vaccine is the best way to keep yourself and keep your neighbors and everybody around you safe. Just so you know, right now, at no level of government am I aware of any more desire to go to mandates. The governor certainly doesn't want to go that way. I've been speaking to our colleagues in the area. As you know, we put a mandate in place for the town some months ago, and initially the business community embraced it. And they said, thank you, this is a good thing because, we get so much resistance from people. It's good to have a mandate in place that helps us enforce it. But then after a few weeks, they said, we get such pushback, it's just not worth the effort. So basically it's up to people to be responsible on their own. So there is talk in Hartford kind of offline about the possibility of creating something like they call it a COVID passport. And I've seen this thing where you get a QR code on your phone that indicates, what level of vaccines you've had, and then you can show this. And just as a side comment, for the Thanksgiving holiday, I visited some family members in Washington State, and in the city of Seattle, in order to go out for dinner in any restaurant, you have to show your vaccine card. They will not let you in the door. And that's not a legal mandate. That's just something the business community put in place. So there's different responses around the country. We're still in pretty good shape here, and we'll have to watch the numbers. But I don't see any desire to put mandates in place again. Booster clinics will continue. There was one tonight that just ended a few minutes ago, and there'll be another one a week from today. It'll be from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. in the GP room, and then a second one that day on the 14th from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Appointments can be made if you want to, or you can walk in. The lines haven't been long. Nobody's had to wait more than 5 or 10 minutes. So we encourage people to do that. And then just one last thing I wanted to share, and Brian, this is new information for you, but a few weeks ago, the Board of Selectmen created a new commission called Sustainable Bethel, and it will take over what the Energy Conservation Commission has been doing for the last 10 years and expand their role and do more things. So we'll have the energy piece, looking to make Bethel more carbon neutral and continue to save money. But it will also take on things like supporting arts and culture, supporting land conservation, supporting economic development through tourism, It ties into the sustainable CT program, and there's grant monies available, outside grant monies to help those things happen, along with public education. The reason I want to bring this up is we put this out in a social media post that we are creating this commission. To date, I've received 26 responses from people who want to participate, which makes it I said this last night, so most of you heard this, but it makes it the most interested thing that we've done in town government that I can remember in a very long time. And it's a lot of these names are people who are brand new to volunteering, but they're excited about this. So this is a really good thing. So we're going to be sending out more information to them because the program is so diverse. I'm going to send out a questionnaire to them and say, tell us which areas you are most interested in, and then hopefully we'll be in a position to make the appointments to that, like vet the folks and make appointments at the end of December, first part of January. But it's a pretty cool thing, and I'm very pleased to see the strong response to that. Just so you know, the solar farm that we have, we were one of the first towns in Connecticut. There were 11 towns that qualified through the legislature to put up a solar farm back in 2011. It took 7 years to do it because there was so much red tape and legislative nonsense we had to go through. So our solar farm opened up in the summer of 2018, and since then it has saved cumulatively about $500,000 in the town's electric bill, and it has reduced carbon emissions by about 3 million metric tons. So very good program. That doesn't even include the solar panels that are now on Rockwell and Johnson and on the big track and field center. So that's my report. I have that in writing as well, but ask my colleagues if you have anything you wish to add or any questions.
I'd just like to welcome Brian also to our board. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, moving on then to 2B, which is discussion and consideration of potential candidates to fill the Board of Finance vacancy. Well, we have a letter, we have an endorsement from the BRTC, we have a letter from Mr. Carter, and again, I want to thank Mr. Hoffman for your graciousness in this process. Brian, I would leave it to you if you would like to make a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Dan Carter to finish my 2-year term on the Board of Finance.
All right.
Second.
All right, we have a second. Is there any discussion?
It's a great candidate. He's very reasonable, honorable gentleman, and I think he'll serve the board well. And I think he'll always keep the best interests of Buffalo at heart. I do believe that.
Any other comments? Okay, hearing none, those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. That motion carries. And Dan, congratulations to you and best of luck.
Thank you.
So now we'll move on to item number 3. Seems like there's a lot of people here. You are welcome to stay for the rest of it.
What about public input?
Oh, did we just do that?
Well, you did it for Zoom, but then you went right
You
into your
wanted to, I
selectmen
guess,
report.
get the gate
Oh, I'm
from the
sorry.
hybrids.
All right. Okay, let's back up. No, you're right. We did the vote and I mentally thought we
Not
already
going
done
on.
it. Okay, so is there any public input?
I'll just say, and maybe,
Hey, Tim, just for the record.
oh, yes,
you-
Tim Beagle, I'm here on behalf of the Bethel Republican Town Committee. And I just wanted to, maybe you can circulate that letter, but last night, Bobby Jo Beers resigned from the ZBA
Mhm.
since she was sworn into the Board of Finance. And we submitted our recommendation for Richard Porshane, who is a Republican, ran with the Republicans in November, and he was the highest vote-getting Republican who did not win a seat on the ZBA. So he's willing to serve, and so we're making that recommendation, and we're hoping that you will add this to the agenda so that he can be part of this month's meetings with the ZBA. But I think the resignation letter was handed to you.
You know, I'm gonna have to defer because normally they come to the town clerk and they give me a certified copy, so I'm not, I mean, I hear what you say. When is the ZBA meeting? Or
You know,
the
I'm
zoning?
not even sure. Is anyone here from ZBA? No.
I mean, if We could have a special meeting by
Yeah.
Zoom to make an appointment if it's necessary that we have the person there. They could certainly be at the meeting and participate, but not both. I mean, we'll try to work that
So
out.
you still have the letter or does it?
No, I've never seen the letter.
Oh, Bobby Joe said she gave it to you. Okay, I'll get back in touch with you. That was at
Oh,
the,
no, but Bobby Joe gave me her resignation. I thought
Yes.
you were talking about the letter.
no, the resignation letter.
Yeah.
No, the letter that I turned in today, I think because of the new authentication for the town's email,
Yeah.
my email to you got bounced back
Oh,
saying that I
see.
was spam or something else.
Oh,
So,
The next regular ZBA meeting is December 20th.
okay, we've got time.
you've got, okay, so
Yeah,
you've got another
yeah,
meeting by then.
We'll do it. We'll just do it.
Yeah, it's your next,
You know,
sure.
do the paperwork, not.
Well, that's right, yeah, so as long as, if it's done at your next December meeting, that'd be great.
Sure.
As long as Lisa has the letter, because technically Lisa has to stamp the resignation letter.
Yeah, so the,
So the 21st is our next meeting. Their meeting's on the 20th. So we'd have to do a special meeting.
We have to do a special meeting. We could do it by Zoom. That's okay. Okay. All right. Okay, thank you, Tim.
Okay.
Any other public input? Yes, for the record.
Cindy McCourt, Nail 19 Elgin Avenue. And it's only because you mentioned COVID in your selectmen's report. And the thing that always strikes me is that the numbers are on the rise, the numbers are on the rise. I would venture to say that the hospitalizations and deaths are on the decline. And I would really like it presented in that way. It's like when the flu goes through an area, if people don't die, okay, so people have the flu, that's unfortunate.
Mhm.
But you know what? People aren't hospitalized or dying in anywhere near the
Yeah.
numbers that they were. So when you say it's going in the wrong direction, maybe it's not. I mean, maybe people are just getting mild cases of it and it's just, blowing through. I'm not saying it's not a serious problem, but it just irks me when it's reported that way. You got that from the state, right?
Correct.
Right. So what's up with that? Could you not get the numbers that are more pertinent to the actual reality of it?
Well, basically, no, because
Okay.
the hospitalizations and the death numbers follow later. So I'm just reporting exactly the way I'm getting it, but you're right, both of those figures, they're still happening, but they are lower. And there's evidence, and I'm not speaking out of school here because it was reported in today's New York Times and News Times. There's evidence that this particular variant is milder in form,
Exactly.
but that's unconfirmed. Those are like, we think this and we think that. So I'm reluctant to do it.
Well, I'm just saying, I only care about death and hospitalization. I don't
All right.
care,
Gotcha. Yes, Pat.
This is just a comment to that. I had a friend at the Danbury Hospital this morning. They could not take her in because there were no rooms,
Ooh.
and they had to take her to the room.
So, yeah, so there
So
is
there's a
strain on
problem.
the
There's a
system.
problem.
So, yes.
Relative to hospitalizations in this week's community, is that we actually do have the data from the state.
Mhm.
They do update it along with the other data. It's just not in the same place.
Yeah.
So if the town wants to track hospitalizations,
All right, any further input? All right, hearing none. Okay, so we're gonna move on to item number 3. This is consideration of the approval of the regular meeting minutes from November 16th, 2021. I'll make the motion that we approve those minutes.
Same.
Right. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, and one abstention. I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes of the special meeting of December 3rd, 2021. Okay, any discussion? Those in favor? Aye, and Brian is abstaining. Item number 4. Item number 4, this was consideration of approval for the proposal for the expansion of Clark Business Park. Let me just explain what that is. The town of Bethel has been seeking grant monies probably for about 20 years to complete Clark Park, and it's going to be the section that's up the hill from Trowbridge. And after 20 years, we had to improve the water system to be eligible because there was insufficient water volume and pressure to allow, for fire safety. That took about 7 or 8 years to do that part. And then we did get a grant thanks to our delegation, Steve Harding, Rahab Ali Brennan, Senator Kushner, and Senator Haskell, who pushed very hard. It took 3 years to get that through, but we have a matching grant of $637,000 to complete that project. We will have to front the other half of that, which is our section would be with contingencies about $645,000. But the town will realize approximately 1.6 million on the sale. Now, this was supposed to go to the Board of Selectmen tonight to then go to the Board of Finance. However, the procurement committee meeting had to be canceled, so they did not approve this. We're gonna have to put this off for one cycle, but that's not gonna put us in the penalty box in terms of starting the construction. That can still start in the spring. So I'm gonna just make a motion that we table item number 4 to the next meeting. Okay, those in favor?
I have a question.
Oh, okay, yeah. But
Go ahead, Brian.
How many building lots are they
4.
getting? So 4, and they're thinking, do they already have a buyer for the 4 lots?
They have interested parties for 2 of the 4.
2 of the 4.
Correct.
And any idea on what this will do to the grant list? Maybe is there proposals like on the table, they want to build, 1,000 square foot facilities.
Well, I don't have those numbers, but yes. And I'll tell you, as soon as you have to table this, I'll have Janice Christiana come in with those numbers because they do have
If
that.
she wants to email me, she can
Okay.
email if they have just like to just get up to date a little bit more.
I knew what's happening. Yeah, all right. We'll do
All right, my question is also, we have to go to a town meeting for this, don't we?
eventually, yeah.
Eventually, so after we get the Board of Finance approval, doesn't it go to town meeting before we can sign the contract?
Yes.
Or award the contract?
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct. Yep. Yeah, this wasn't to
So
award
that-
the contract. This was just to move it to the next step. But we'll table that to the 21st. We have a motion to table. Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, that carries. Item number 5 is the bid award for replacement of 2 rooftop air conditioning and ventilation units at Bethel High School. This has been a part of the school board's long-term capital plan for several years. The amount that is required to replace these, to make a long story short, these should have been replaced when Bethel High School was renovated starting in 2005. But it was, the budget was reduced when asbestos was found, so they repaired the ones that were there. But that was quite a few years ago now, and they are on their last legs and increasingly failing. So you have a memo from the procurement committee. The recommendation is to award the bid to Save More Cooling and Heating, which is the lowest qualified bidder. So I'm going to make a motion that we approve the request to award this contract to Save More Cooling and Heating in the amount of not to exceed $274,000, subject to approval by the town attorney and the Board of Finance. And the funds would be recommended to the Board of Finance. This is up to the Board of Finance to make the final determination. But the recommended use of funds would be from prior year and current year capital non-recurring. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, so questions, comments?
I have a question, Brad, how many bids were received on this?
It was either 2 or 3. I don't have that in front of me, but if you give me a second, I can pull it.
And the range?
There's 3 bids. 2 were really close. 4 bids. 2 were within $250, and then the other ones were $321,000 and then $418,000. So, like I said, the Save More and the second place bidder was $250 apart. And then they did some due diligence to make sure it was a qualified bidder, and all that came back good. So.
Question, is there any contingency built into those numbers?
There is not. No. Because it was bid out, we thought about having the request come to the board with putting our own contingency in there. It was bid, it's replacement of the 2 units. We think they're gonna come in on target on it.
Okay,
Well, in the future, I think we need to have some kind of contingency built into it. It's either on the, our side or I think it should be on our side, just to protect it.
Yeah, it's hard, Rich, sometimes with the contingency because it was a bid project. It would take a change order for it to go over the 274. And if we went down that route, I'd rather have it be done through the public without just being able to go, yeah, do a change order. Because I want somebody that bids on it to do their research, come up with a price, and then hit their price.
The board
Just
bet-
my own philosophy on it.
Brad, couldn't the board of bet if it went a little bit over, use their unexpended funds account to cover that cost? I mean, they have.
The 274, they could have, but if you remember during the budget process.
I'm not talking about the 274. I understand. what you're saying.
Oh, if there's an overage.
The contingency was 27,000 and they're 15,000 over. Couldn't they take that funds from their unexpended fund account and we're not even require a whole vote and everything?
probably.
Yeah, we could look at different funding sources without coming back to the boards.
Any other questions? All right, hearing none, so we have a motion on the floor to approve and send to the Board of Finance to the next step. Those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Item number 6, consideration of approval of the St. Mary's Carnival date and location. And it's good to know that after a couple of years, we will have a nice event back on the lawn and in the spring. It's always something that we look forward to in conjunction with our Memorial Day ceremonies and celebration. So we have the application which came into the Park and Rec office for use of the front lawn, as it has been in the past. So I'm going to make a motion that we approve the bid award, or not the bid, approve the request for the use of the front lawn of the municipal center and side lawn from May 13th through May 23rd, subject to the Carnival Committee meeting the insurance requirements and any liability waivers as required by the town attorney. Okay. So we have a motion made and seconded. Any questions, any comments? Hearing none, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, it carries. Item number 7. As is usual, once a month, we have some tax refunds to distribute. These are usually overpayment of property taxes, personal property, and or vehicles. So we have a detailed list from Paula Usher, the tax collector. So I'm going to make a motion that we approve the tax refunds requested on this dated December 3rd, 2021, in the amount of $12,925.49. Okay, any discussion or questions? Those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Since how we already took care of item number 8, that concludes our agenda, and I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay. Those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourned. Thank you very much for coming, everybody. Nick, thank you again. And thank you, and